Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. Happy Thanksgiving everybody, happy Turkey Day, and what a way to celebrate Thanksgiving with a new episode of Young Justice, Phantoms, of course, Young Justice Season 4. This is Season 4, Episode 8. I'm excited for this, because I believe this is the end of this arc. We'll see about that, because I believe because the first 4 episodes was the Mars arc with Magan and Superboy and all that kind of stuff. We knew what happened in Episode 4, so I believe Episode 8 now, 4 episodes into this new arc, is the ending, but we'll see. I know why the caged cat sings. Interesting title, and I thought the title last episode, The Lady or the Tigress, was interesting because I had a theory on that in terms of Orphan having to choose between the Lady, which is her mother, Lady Shiva, or Tigress, of course, formerly Artemis, now Tigress, but I call her Artemis regardless because that's who she is to me. I was wrong, because none of that happened. We found out who the mole was. It was the daughter of Vandal Savage, which I was thinking in terms of her or Onyx being the betrayer, because that's kind of how this whole arc was set up in terms of who's betraying the team, essentially, even though neither of them are on the team or a part of, whatever Artemis, Tigress are doing with all these other heroes, but they show up trying to get her help. And so it's like, who's betraying who here? Like, who's lying? And it really boiled down to the last minute thinking, Onyx maybe, because she puts a knife, or sword, not a knife, but a sword to her throat, saying, this is as far as you go. Then it cuts away. I'm thinking, she's the mole. No, it actually is the daughter of Vandal Savage, which that makes more sense why she's the one lying, because the daughter of Vandal Savage, using that whatever like thing on her neck, that like spell or some sort of like thing to remove the scar and show that she in fact does not have her arm cut off. So it was a good trick. It was a good trick to make her believe. And of course, at the last moment, Tigress had to kind of take both of them to go save Orphan, because she needs everybody, even though she was asked, do you want the whole Bat family to show up? And she declined, so I'm wondering what's going to happen here in terms of the outcome, because they ended with them being surrounded. It's not looking good. So yeah, and then on top of that, I wasn't prepared for the fact that they gave us a version of Killing Joke, where Orphan is tasked to go after Joker, who's at the UN, and she goes to cut him with her sword, and Batgirl jumps in the way, cuts her back, turns her into Oracle, the birth of Oracle. So Joker technically is a part of the reason why she is paralyzed and became Oracle, but not the way you think. It was Orphan, but then that shows where she was trying to save Joker, but really try to save Orphan from making a horrible mistake. So there's some sort of bond there. They were kind of showing that a little bit, and then we saw, of course, what happened in that flashback. So I'm not ready. I love the hell out of this show. I honestly patiently wait each week for a new episode, because I love the show so much. I was campaigning for it to return before Season 3 was announced. And now that I have the show back, it just blows me away that the fact of how good this show is and the fact that they canceled it for so long. So, let's continue now. Episode 8 of Season 4, Young Justice Phantoms. I know why the caged cat sings. Interesting title still. Let's go.
Don't move a muscle.
Whoa.
Your position's secure enough to survive them learning everything I know.
Probably not. I wasn't expecting this.
You, Artemis Croc, will be allowed to leave unharmed.
Really?
Take it or leave it.
She's not gonna take it, no.
I just want to get the tractor up on blocks. Then we'll be right.
Oh no, you two.
Oh no.
We'll be waiting on you for an hour.
I love this.
Will Uncle Connor be here? My father did kill my sister.
Yeah.
But that was a mercy.
Mercy?
As for my mother and her family, I'm thankful. This was never about putting a mole on the team.
Yawn. Been there.
Yawn.
I swear I didn't know they were using me. It would hardly affect if you did. You never developed the proper espionage skills. I had similar sususpicions and put them to the test. You let me.
It's all the big work.
Cassandra as a mole. I have my daughter back.
And she's out. Oh shit. Uh-oh.
Shadows, hold the door.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Of course. And there he's there. Oh. I'm really liking this night fight. This is really cool. Oh, shit. Come on. I mean, she's trying. Let's switch. Oh, shit. Smart. Oh, God. Careful. Oh. Yeah. That's awesome. I love the visuals of this. It's so cool. Oh, damn. Shit. That's not good.
Enough is enough. Again, surrender is your only option.
Come on. Come on. Cut your own people, you idiot.
Uncle Connor passed away.
Yeah. Oh.
He'd come to our house because he passed it away. But every time we come to Grandma and Grandpa's house, Uncle Connor meets us here with Wolf.
Now, if some of these parts stop doing their jobs, the body can stop working and die. And that's what happened to Uncle Connor.
And these pictures can remind you of those memories. And we
Aww.
believe when our journeys end, we
I
will
wasn't
see
expecting this.
everyone we love again. Dare betray me?
Yeah.
No Cheshire debt. She
Oh.
and I are now even.
Well, we are not even. And with one word from me, your friend Barbara Gordon will be dead before you return to Gotham.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yep. Yep. That was the trigger point.
Let her finish it, sis.
Oh, shit. She is fucking pissed. You mentioned Barbara.
Isn't what you want.
Well, it's conflicting.
Come back to your mother when you are ready to admit who you really are. So like the Cheshire Cat, they'll just disappear.
She'll disappear. Through the
Then she
door.
Just let me go. If you see her again, you must convince her.
Well, it's been a rocky relationship, so.
Look what I made. It's a mommy mask.
A mommy mask.
Wait.
That scared her away. Damn it.
It's a great mask.
It's
If I had gotten
hard.
Mars 5 minutes sooner.
You would have died alongside Connor.
Oh my god.
Leaving your son without a father.
How far ahead is she? Her stolen helicopter has about 10 minutes on you.
Stolen helicopter?
She's still on course for Infinity Island. Still, yes.
She's right behind you. Eh?
They're never gonna trust you. Not unless you tell them the truth. And bring me in.
I mean,
I'm betting you can't
that does happen.
to do either.
Oh, coming back? What's going on? Of course, she made it.
Out of the way.
Jason's right there. They don't even know. He's right there. He's right there.
Trying to get yourself killed?
Yes.
I'm just sending her back where she belongs. Home. With Will and Leon.
I am only living there because you left.
I had to leave.
Because you couldn't be bothered?
Yeah,
Handle the responsibility?
No. I chose my destiny a long time ago.
you sure did.
Never too late to change your mind.
Well,
To change
this is
who
true.
you are.
Come on.
What you experienced here was not family, but manipulation.
I mean, yeah,
Of course,
that's a
the
better
shadows
option.
kept an eye on
Who's
the
up here?
daughters of Sportsmaster.
I can't believe you are even considering this.
It merits consideration.
Oh, shit.
Well, if it isn't the great
Hello?
yourself.
Artemis Croc. Ray Shogul is many things.
But
Many things.
Warrior isn't one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jade, what's the end game here? I plan on coming back to check on both of them.
Can she?
Count on it.
We have no objection.
Okay,
You are
that's
welcome
good.
here at any time.
Aw, that's nice. So you lost, unless you're really gonna take up on that threat about whatever of sending, shadows. This is honestly one of the best episodes of this season so far. I am just blown away by all the things they covered in this episode. That amazing, and awesome looking fight sequence in the dark between, of course, Lady Shiva, all of them, versus, of course, Artemis and all of them, Tigress. That whole sequence was fantastic. It was so well done in terms of the visuals, but we'll get to all of this stuff. Just overall, wow. And this honestly felt like this was the end of the arc, okay? It felt like this was the end of the arc. There's nothing really else to tell it, at least at this point, until, later on down the road, possibly, because a lot of this stuff has to reconnect in a way, because it's the way they kind of end certain things. It's like, there's clearly more that's going to happen throughout the story here, but as of right now, this is the kind of conclusion to a lot of it. So I'm curious to know what the next arc is. I don't know if it's been a release date or whatever in terms of what character we're going to focus on next, but I'm excited. Okay, so I want to talk about real quick the kind of, because we're jumping around in timeline a little bit, because we have a couple of flashbacks where it's Jade, because I would say Cheshire, but people saying I'm mispronouncing that or something, so I'm just going to stick with her name, Jade. So we open the episode with her, and then there's a couple arrows that hit in front of her, knock her down, and it's Artemis in her Artemis suit. And we flash back a little bit. And throughout the episode, we have a couple of these flashbacks in this timeline talking about basically the house. She's like, oh, it's you. Artemis is like, it's you, Jade, it's you, my sister. She's like, well, just like a Cheshire cat, I'll escape or disappear. And then throughout the episode, wow, don't know what happened there. But then we keep on going through these flashbacks of where she tries to reach out to Artemis, but she's like about to at the window, and then she leaves. But she knew she was there the whole time. And then she's like, eventually they're going to kick you off the team unless you tell them exactly what happened and, bring me into the fold. But obviously, it's like this whole relationship between the two sisters was really rocky. They had showed that earlier in episodes with earlier flashbacks where literally she told Artemis, like, I'll come back tomorrow with the money to pay you back for all the food that you took, for me to take. And she never came back. Well, she just showed that she can't be trusted. And so that really plays into what's happening in present day in terms of after the events, of course, against Lady Shiva and all that. So I feel like these flashbacks with an Artemis in her Artemis suit was really interesting because it's a timeline we haven't seen in terms of it's a time period we haven't seen in quite some time. So I like the fact that we were covering some of that and showing that they were, running into each other face to face a couple times. And the fact she had the conversation with her mother during that flashback about, what her mother had to go through to kind of understand that the only way to really save her is family. Like, there's no other way to really save your sister. So that was interesting. We also had some cutaways to Smallville, the Kent farm. And I wasn't expecting that, but it actually makes sense in the sense of that Superboy, of course, is dead. There's a lot of people, a lot of theories talking about he's not dead. The Legion took him. He's in the 31st century or whatever. He was saved. But we'll see, because the assumption is that the explosion happened, they saved him, and then, of course, when they go to their actual time period, they have the technology to save him from dying from kryptonite. So that was the assumption, that the explosion happened, but whatever, but we'll see. There's a lot of theories about what happened to Superboy Connor. But we cut to the Kent farm, and we have, I believe the baby's name is Jonathan. Well, not baby, he's a little kid now. Jonathan, I believe that's his name, but anyways. They're on the Kent farm. Wasn't expecting this. Was really cool to jump there. But they're having to explain to him that Connor's not showing up. Because he's like, oh, when's Connor going to be here? So they found a way for Superman, I almost said Superboy, sorry. It's early in the morning. Superman to explain to him death, which is unsettling, but at the same time, you have you have to teach your kids at some point about that, and the fact he had to go about it that way. But luckily, he was surrounded, of course, by his wife, his mother. Not Superboy. Well, technically, yes, Superman's mother and father, both Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent, and but Lois was there and just kind of explained to his son what death is, and it's like a thing to where, look, the body is no longer breathing, but we can cherish the memories and think back. And then you had a scene through the cutaway, because we'll get to all the Artemis stuff in a second. I just want to get to the smaller stuff first, to kind of not get it out of the way, but get my point. But he's breaking down, Superman's breaking down in front of Lois because he felt like he didn't have a lot of time. He wasted a lot of time, because when they first introduced Superboy, he was, distant. He didn't know if he could trust him. And he hates the fact that he wasted all that time not really understanding who he truly was. And he felt like he lost that. So I feel like it's going to be a huge reveal and everything when he returns. And everything's fine. We'll see about that. So we'll see. So all the Artemis stuff. So we have that flashback where we see Artemis in Artemis suit against Jade, Cheshire, whatever. And then we cut to present day where they're surrounded. And Oracle's like, okay, keep the villains talking. I'm going to do some stuff. Hold on. Because Orphan's still trying to break out of her chains and have her arms up. So keep them talking. And of course, they're going to keep talking. They're villains. They love to talk. So she breaks out, and of course, she throws a knife or something, or the pick, at a light, and then the lights are shut off. And then this fight sequence goes down that is so good, because it's a night fight sequence, but it's in the dark. You make a point, like it's night outside, but you make my point, it's a fight sequence in the dark. And the way they go about visualizing it was really interesting. Every time there's like a shot or blades are hitting, you see light. And you're seeing certain things causing light. And then, of course, you have that one villain on the side with the purple glow, that robot-looking guy. So it was really cool to see a lot of the visuals throughout the different fights and people fighting different people. It's like really, really cool. At times, it wasn't hard to keep up with. It's kind of hard to remember every single thing that kind of happened in the fight sequence, because so many things was happening until the Shade took them away, and then the reveal that he owed Jade a debt, and now they're even. So that was a cool little twist, that he's no longer a part of working with Lady Shiva, and that he's actually the one that helps them escape, because it wasn't looking good at all, because when the lights came back on, it was bad. But I really liked the fight in the dark between Orphan and her mother, Lady Shiva, because that whole sequence, like, there's a lot going on there, because they had set up so much in the last episode? Yeah, the last episode, where you see that she really was trying to turn her daughter into, like, a true assassin, a true killer, and you see how much she was willing to do to her daughter against her will to make her that way. Cutting her vocal cords to where she can't speak, and forcing her to go and attack the Joker at the UN and all that. We've already covered what happened there, creating Oracle, all that kind of stuff. But the thing is that she was doing everything in her power to create Orphan into the perfect, the perfect image of, a killer, assassin, whatever, the part of the shadows. And then, of course, she turns on her. So you have all this, and of course, when she's captured, she's talking to her daughter and all this kind of stuff. So the fight was pretty brutal. And then, of course, the fight later on the island when they escape. But the whole sequence there. But then when they switch, because realizing that at this point, she's getting her ass kicked. Orphan is. Because she's weak. So this is not looking good at all. So they switch. So when she goes and attacks that one robotic guy, the purple glow guy, and freaking Orphan destroys, like, cuts the legs off, cuts the hands off, and then goes there for the lasers. It was so cool to see that. And then, of course, when the whole fight's going down, and then Onyx and Cassandra, Vandal Savage's daughter, that fight sequence is good too, because in terms of revealing they wanted Onyx, they allowed Onyx to escape and all that kind of stuff to kind of add more fuel to the fire, essentially, of who's telling the truth and who's betraying who, and who do we trust, all that kind of stuff. So it's like a lot of compounding things on top of each other in terms of trust, and how to really make it seem like there's some trust issues going on, just because they can get this information to be sent back to the light and all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of layers of, communication and basically planning for them to infiltrate, essentially, to get the information. So they allowed Onyx to go on ahead and try to reveal the information, because it adds more questions of who's telling the truth here. So it all just adds up. So when the Shade saves them and brings them out to the island, Lady Shiva just doesn't know when to shut up, okay? She's continuing to talk, and that causes Orphan to jump, and because she mentioned going after Barbara Gordon, which is a no-no. So she runs off and attacks. And I'm thinking, okay, I think she's going to knock down her mother. She's not going to kill her, which I was correct. But I wasn't expecting her to stab her in the chest, essentially. Or, like, close to it. Like, I think she might be a little lower than the chest. But I wasn't expecting that all the way through. I was expecting her just to beat her mom down so bad to the point where she can't fight back, and then she chooses not to execute her. I wasn't expecting a stab through, but of course her mother survived. But I really thought maybe she killed her mother, and maybe if they went through with that, which they didn't, but if they did, maybe that is like the turning point for where that's going to be the end of the connection of what she was basically born and raised to be, and now she can truly be who she wants to be. But they didn't go that direction. But I feel like ultimately that's what she still accomplished, because she beat her mother. She beat her. You saw the smile on her face too when she was laying there thinking she's going to get her head chopped off or something, and then the smile dissipated when she backed off. because she was like hoping like, this is what I, even though it was going to be the death of her, she's like, this is what I built her for. This is what I made her into. And I want to be right, because she's going to kill me. She's going to execute me. She's going to be the assassin. She's going to be what I wanted her to be. And then she doesn't do it. It was really, really good in terms of that, because Orphan goes against everything. She stabs her, but maybe she knew that that wasn't going to kill her. She probably knew. I mean, she's really smart. Orphan is, so clearly she in all the training and stuff that her mom put her through and everything, she knows. So I'm assuming she knew that wasn't going to kill her, but still, it was pretty shocking. So they get back, and then we go to Infinity Island a little later, because literally Jade was going to go home to see her kid, and then her kid made a mommy mask, which is the Cheshire Cat mask. It scared her away, because you find out later when they go to Infinity Island, and then there was Sensei and Jason. They still don't know that's Jason. They still don't know. If Artemis was tipped off, and they had Jason say one line, but if Artemis was tipped off, then it would have been, it would have been a pretty shocking moment, because they believe Jason is dead. And they still don't know. And I feel like that's a long wait. They're going to make us wait a long time, I think, for that. We'll see, though. But, I mean, they're showing Jason more and more. We've seen him, I think, twice this season now. So we'll see. And he spoke. So I feel like maybe they're setting up to where we're finally going to get more Jason, and maybe the reveal. But when we get there, we find out why Jade doesn't want to go back. Because she's, I have too much of dad in me. And she's afraid that that's going to basically transfer into her daughter, in a sense of that her daughter's going to become like her, because it's more like Sportsmaster. So I get her point of why she ran away when she saw on the FaceTime call, or whatever, I guess it was FaceTime, mommy mask. No, and she scared her away. She stole a helicopter, of course. But there was a long discussion, and I'm thinking, so we're just going to have a long talk here about people's, Jade and Onyx talking about what happened and how they were brought in, all that kind of stuff. And then Ray Shaw Gold shows up, and he says it because Sensei had said something about rehabilitation, and you have to go into it with open eyes. And Ray Shaw Gold shows up and says that that's the whole point now, is we're not affiliated with that anymore, and we can help you, in a sense. Like, interesting. But then Artemis says, I'm going to come back to visit. We have no objections. Show up anytime you want. Okay. I noticed how, too, Talia was not seen at all. She didn't want to be seen. She's hiding up away. And, of course, we see, little Damian Wayne a little bit later when it shows, because it's cutting through a couple different stuff, and we see where Onyx and Jade are there with Sensei. And then you see in the back, you see Talia, and then there's Damian. I think Jason was there in that circle, too. So I feel like Jason's in rehabilitation in some sort of sense, too. So we'll see about what happens from there, because I don't think Jade really fully knows who Jason is, clearly, because she was never a part of the Young Justice or any part of these teams. So her connection to Jason, there probably isn't one. Onyx probably has no idea either. So it's not going to be effective if they find out who Jason is, unless they find out truly the backstory of who Jason really is, in terms of he was a Robin, they believe he's dead. Then maybe the information gets out. But I really feel like it's going to be a thing to where they're going to reveal Jason's face, and then it's going to be a big reveal to everybody, because we know who it is, but they don't know who it is. They don't know who is behind this really cool red mask. It's a cool little twist on the rebirth of Jason Todd, because he's not Red Hood. He's a whole different character in a sense. So we'll see. But I really enjoyed this episode. And they end, of course, with Artemis being back home. So I feel like overall this was a good ending, because I feel like they probably had to go with a better ending, in a sense, in terms of a lot of conclusions, of course, because literally we ended the first arc with Magan, Miss Martian, with Connor being killed. So that was a dark ending. It makes more sense for this to be a lighter ending, but still a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff went down. And it was cool to see like throughout the little montages of on the Kent farm, and then Orphan hugging Oracle. So it was all good. It was all good for the most part. So I really enjoyed this arc. I believe this is the ending of the arc. It's felt clear to me. What'd you guys think of it? What'd you think overall about this arc involving Artemis, Tigress, and all these characters, and the betrayal, and who's telling the truth, and the reveal at the end, of course, about the fight between Orphan and her mother, and then all that other stuff. I mean, it felt really good. Like, I really liked the multiple layers of storytelling throughout this arc, and overall this episode as well. Whatever thoughts you have, guys, let me know in the comments below. I love the hell out of this show. I really do, and I cannot wait for the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.